Many colonial leaders agreed with the sentiments expressed by Thomas Paine in Common Sense. At the Second Continental Congress in Philadelphia, plenty of spirited debate took place in the meeting hall. Many of the intense arguments revolved around the question, should the colonies declare independence from British rule? What did the colonial leaders decide? On June 7, 1776, Virginia's Richard Henry Lee, following instructions from his home colony, proposed a bold resolution. That these colonies are and of right ought to be free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connections between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved. Some delegates feared that the colonies were not ready to declare independence, while others feared the power of Britain to crush the rebellion. As the debates took place, a committee of 5 was formed to draft a Declaration of Independence. The committee included Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Roger Sherman, and Robert Livingston. Jefferson wanted Adams to write the document. However, Adams understood the dissatisfaction that many members of Congress had with him over the firm stand he had taken with the debates over independence. He believed that any resolution drafted by him stood no chance of passing a vote. Franklin could have been the right person for the job, but many were suspicious of him due to his son's loyalty to the British Crown. Livingston did not fully support the idea of declaring independence, and Sherman expressed a lack of confidence in his own writing abilities. In the end, Adams insisted that Jefferson write the document. Once again, geography played an important role in this decision, just as it had when they chose George Washington to command the Continental Army. Adams knew that most of the New England delegates had become unpopular in Congress, and a Declaration of Independence written by a Virginian would once again send a clear message to the Crown about colonial unity. Jefferson drew on the ideas of English philosopher John Locke, who had written about the natural rights of life, liberty, and property in his essay, The Two Treatises of Government, almost a century before. Locke also wrote that people formed governments to protect their rights, and that when a government interferes with such rights, the people can rightfully overthrow that government. Although Jefferson adopted many of Locke's ideas, he consulted neither book nor pamphlet directly. He later wrote that the Declaration was intended to be an expression of the American mind, and to give that expression the proper tone and spirit called for by that occasion. As Jefferson locked himself into a room to write the now famous document, he was in full agreement with his friend John Adams, who argued that a more equal liberty that had prevailed in other parts of the earth must be established in America.